because this is really where big idea 1 and big idea 2 kind of come together a little bit. So if big idea teaches us that our brains are meaning-making machines, and big idea 2 teaches us that those interpretations happen fast and automatically, big idea 3 is that natural result. We instantly assign meaning to other people's behavior. We don't just observe actions. We explain them. We interpret them. We attach motives, intent, and even character potentially almost immediately. So the human brain is uncomfortable with ambiguity. So when information is incomplete, the brain likes to fill in the gaps. And usually, we don't even notice we're doing it. That's the challenge of these stories that we tell, and that we begin to confuse interpretation with reality. And it begins as our minds guess quickly. That guess becomes truth. Facts are observed. Stories are interpreted. And we tend to blend those two together. Now, probably one of the most common ways we do this is through something that psychologists call the fundamental attribution error. Okay, now many of you have probably heard of this before, right? This sounds a little academic, but you're going to recognize it pretty immediately if you haven't already heard of it. This is a little bit of a bias that we're talking about that affects virtually every relationship that we have. It can shape a marriage, it can impact workplace, friendships, leadership, and teamwork. And once you see it, you start to notice it everywhere. So here's what we mean by the fundamental attribution error. It is a cognitive bias that causes people to overemphasize personality traits and underestimate situational factors when judging others' behaviors, right? Absolutely. Once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. And it's kind of like if you get a new car. You ever have that experience where you get whether it's brand new or new to you, you ever notice you get the new car and now suddenly everyone's got that car? Everyone's got the same color car? Yeah, once you see it, you start to notice it, right? And so this is what the fundamental attribution error is, this cognitive bias. And what happens is people tend to attribute others' actions to personality or character, but we tend to attribute their own actions to external factors. Part of the reason is they don't know the external factors in someone else's life, right? So if we over-attribute behavior to character and under-attribute to circumstances, we tend to judge others by actions and ourselves by intentions. Let me give you a very real example that I'm sure we're all familiar with, right? You're driving and someone cuts you off. Your natural instinct is to what? They are a terrible driver. Let's be honest, friends. We've all diagnosed complete strangers from behind the steering wheel, right? Okay, right? That's what happens. We assume character flaws in others. But watch what happens when the roles reverse. So now you are the person who cut someone off, and now your interpretation is what? I didn't see them. Do you notice how we start to explain our behavior situationally? Same behavior, completely different interpretations. Suddenly now, with me, context matters. Now that's the nuance, right? Now